Hey, it's Rick Kettner here. Let's talk about 3 ways to stay sane as an entrepreneur when you've been blindsided by something completely unexpected like the coronavirus pandemic that is going on right now. This is a brutal time for many people as entire industries are being put on hold, and even if your industry hasn't been affected yet, the uncertainty surrounding this situation is likely causing you a lot of stress and anxiety. Now, of course, central to all of this is the health impact of the virus. We all have friends and family members that are in at-risk groups, so of course we must do everything that we can to protect them during this difficult time. But with that said, this is not a video about the health impact, as I'm not qualified to speak about any of that. Instead, I want to talk about 3 ways to stay more calm and effective as an entrepreneur, even if it seems like things are completely outside of your control at the moment. And just a heads up, I plan to follow up with additional videos to address challenges like how to save a devastated business, how to get sleep during extreme stress, and even some tips on how to thrive in highly disruptive environments like this. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you want to get an alert when those videos are released in the near future. But for now, let's get back into it. If your business is being impacted in a big way, the single most important step that you can take is to mentally reframe the situation within a larger context. And I say that knowing full well that the short-term impact can be devastating in so many ways and that it's incredibly difficult to think of anything else at a time like this. But this is very important. As brutal as it can be to lay people off, take on unexpected debt, or even lose your business entirely, it's so important to reframe a challenge like this within a larger context. Consider this quote from Daniel Kahneman in Thinking Fast and Slow. "Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it." The fact is, our brains are wired to obsess about things, and unfortunately, the more we focus on any one thing, the more important it becomes in our mind. So, left to our own devices, we can take a terrible situation and make it far worse by getting stuck in a mental loop. And again, this is not to minimize what you're going through. I know many entrepreneurs out there are losing a lot right now, and I totally get that. But it's important to reframe and think about things in a bigger picture in order to regain confidence, focus on a brighter future, and take steps to move in a more positive direction. Consider the 2008 financial crisis. It devastated many people, and yet in the larger context of time, life did return to normal. Not immediately, maybe not even within a year or two, but it did return to normal. Now, whether you went through that exact experience or you've dealt with other big issues in your life, if you reflect back, you'll likely discover 2 things. First, even the most devastating financial losses do get resolved over time. And second, nothing is as important as it seems in the moment. So start by recognizing that you will get past this, and then shift your focus to finding long-term solutions rather than focusing on short-term losses. After that, the next thing that you can do is create labels for harmful thought patterns. In times of stress, it's easy to spend a lot of time thinking about the same kinds of things over and over again. And of course, we do this because we're desperate for solutions and believe if we just think about something one more time, maybe we'll come up with a quick solution. But of course, this is rarely productive and often just results in stress, anxiety, and a loss of focus. So the solution here is to label any emotions, stressors, or thought patterns that you experience over and over during a time like this. That way, rather than just being pulled into them repeatedly, you can more easily recognize and stop those thought patterns from taking over before they burn too much mental energy. It's really important to get into a habit of being quick to identify and release those kinds of thoughts so you can move on to more productive things. For example, if you start thinking about whether or not the government will provide a certain kind of assistance and how that may or may not be enough to help your specific business, you can label this kind of thought pattern as wheel-spinning speculation, or some other kind of simple phrase that makes it easy for the brain to identify the thought pattern and dismiss that way of thinking as being a waste of your time. Another example is if you get caught thinking about how nothing ever works out for you and everything always goes wrong, label that thought process as something like poor me pessimism, and then release it. It's not helping you, so give it some kind of memorable name so your brain can identify it quickly and move on. Now, this approach really works, but you have to take the time to identify and label unproductive patterns that are going on in your head during a time like this. That way, your brain can more easily recognize them and can more easily release them as well. Okay, last but not least, it's important to redirect your focus onto productive tasks. In my experience, the easiest way to stop thinking about one thing is to start thinking about something else. If you've ever tried to stop your brain from thinking about something as you lay in bed at night, you know it's almost impossible. But in my experience, the solution is to focus on something new, to give the brain something else to do. You can't turn it off and you can't make it stop thinking, but what you can do is focus it on something else. So within this context, that may mean spending more time focusing on alternative ways to serve your customers. Or if your industry has been completely devastated and is currently on pause, it may mean going in a very different direction. For example, consider reaching out to others just to be there for them. Get on the phone, talk with clients, see how they're doing, not in an effort to close a sale, but just to be there for them during a difficult time. And of course, it's also a great opportunity to spend time with your family, even if that means connecting over Skype or FaceTime video in order to accommodate for social distancing. Whatever you do, redirect your attention to something positive instead of just dwelling on things that you cannot control. So let's quickly review all three tools. First, you can reframe the situation to get a better perspective. And here, it's really important to understand that within the context of time, you will rebuild, you will recover. So stop worrying about that and shift your focus to making that happen instead of just dwelling on the current situation. Second, you can label thought patterns and emotions that are counterproductive. This way, you can quickly identify and release things that are just causing anxiety and stress, and instead focus on problems that actually can be solved right here and now. And third, you can redirect your focus towards positive and productive tasks that can move you not only towards recovery, but also towards bigger opportunities for the future. Now, in addition to those three tools, over the coming weeks and months, it's going to be important to keep three other things in mind as well. First, your physical and emotional health are most important of all. You can't serve others, you can't take care of your team, and you can't rebuild your business without your health. So do what you need to do to protect yourself and those around you. Second, know that your financial success will recover in the long run. I know I keep mentioning this, but so long as you take care of your physical and emotional health, there will be a point in time where you look back on this incredibly difficult period as just another stage in your life. So while you should do what you can to improve your situation right now, remember to think big picture and avoid being overwhelmed by what is happening in any one moment. And third, remember that you are not alone in dealing with this, even if it might feel like it. And even if your situation has nothing to do with the global pandemic that's going on right now, regardless of circumstance, big swings are a natural part of the entrepreneurial experience. And other entrepreneurs get that, and they can and will be there for you if you reach out. So with that in mind, please consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Share what you're going through. And if you have some time, be supportive of others that are sharing their own experiences as well. This isn't going to be an easy time for anybody, but we will get through it. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I will be following this up with additional tips, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And if this video helped you in any way, please consider sharing it with someone else that might also benefit from it. And please click the like button to help YouTube recommend it to other people here on the platform. It might seem like an insignificant click, but it makes a big difference in getting this message out to more people. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care of yourself out there, and I'll see you in the next video.